Welcome to my channel and watch my video, like, subscribe. Thank you. You hold more power in your tongue than in your bank account. The wallet you carry may be leather, cloth, or simply an idea stored in a mobile app, but its contents are not determined by how much you earn, how much you save, or how much you lack. No, its balance is shaped and molded by the words you speak over it. The world will tell you that money comes from hustle, from blood and sweat, from fear of not having enough. But this is not the highest truth. The deeper law, the unseen law, declares that your spoken word creates your financial world. What you affirm in faith becomes what you experience in form. Everything begins in the unseen, and the first tool of creation is the word. In the beginning was the Word, and it wasn't just any word, but a word aligned with power, purpose, and divine truth. When you speak with faith, you plant seeds into the invisible soil of the universe. These seeds, when tended with belief, will bloom into physical reality. And when your wallet seems empty, it is not an invitation to declare lack. It is a sacred moment to speak abundance into existence. Every time you open your wallet and say, "I never have enough," you are prophesying your poverty. Every sigh of defeat when the balance reads low becomes a command to the universe. Keep it that way. You are not merely observing lack, you are authoring it. But here is the truth that sets you free. Your word is your wand. When you speak words of increase, you send out divine messengers that rearrange the very structure of your financial life. Money begins to flow not from effort alone, but from alignment, from belief, from speech infused with expectancy. Say this and say it often. A divine supply flows freely to me. Money comes to me through expected and unexpected avenues. I am always provided for. Don't whisper it in doubt. Declare it in boldness. Speak it when your wallet is full, and speak it especially when your wallet is thin, because your current condition is not your conclusion. The spoken word bridges the gap between the invisible and the visible, between what is and what can be. You must understand that your words are creative agents. They do not describe reality, they prescribe it. When you say, "I am rich in divine supply," you are not pretending. You are aligning. You are claiming what is already yours in the realm of truth. You are not begging for crumbs. You are stepping into your inheritance. Too many have spoken curses over their finances without realizing it. Phrases like "I'm broke," "money doesn't grow on trees," or "I'll never get ahead" are not harmless. They are spells, and sadly they work. They attract exactly what they affirm. But so do words of blessing. When you speak abundance into your wallet, you aren't lying. You are choosing to live from a higher law than the one dictated by fear. You are choosing to tap into the divine principle that supply is not earned. It is aligned with. And alignment comes through word and belief working together as one. The next time you touch your wallet, before you count your money, before you check your balance, before you react to what's not there, pause, breathe, speak. Say, "You are full. You are blessed. You overflow with divine substance." This is not superstition. This is spiritual science. The universe responds not to need, but to belief. Not to desperation, but to declaration. If you speak lack, you create lack. If you speak increase, you draw it to you like a magnet. There is a place in consciousness where the spoken word becomes a golden thread connecting your spirit to your supply. In that place, you do not wish for money. You command it with the authority of someone who knows they are backed by an infinite source. Your words must not be casual. They must be intentional. Let your voice carry the vibration of certainty. Say, "I am wealthy. I am supported. Money flows to me with ease and grace, not once but daily, not only in public but especially in private, not only when it feels true but even more so when it feels impossible, because it is in those moments that your words carry the most power. When the world says a reality, you say a truth. When the world says a lack, you say abundance. And you keep saying it until your life shifts to match your declaration, because it will. The power is not in the wallet. It's in the word you speak into it. Would you like me to continue with the next expanded point or revise anything in this section? Fear is the great thief. It robs you silently, convincing you that lack is permanent, that struggle is normal, and that prosperity is reserved for the lucky or the ruthless. But you were not created to live in fear. You were designed to live in faith. Not blind faith, but bold, divine, knowing faith that says, "Even when I cannot see supply, I trust that it is moving toward me." You must understand this eternal truth. Lack is not a condition. It is a belief. Fear of not having enough is not rooted in reality, but in illusion. The moment you remove your trust from divine supply and place it in outer appearances, you become vulnerable to fear. But when you place your faith in the invisible, inexhaustible source of all wealth, you become unshakable. What you see in your bank account is not the truth. What you feel when you open your wallet is not the final word. Your circumstances are merely the echoes of past beliefs and words. But your faith is the power that transforms. Your faith is the spiritual fire that melts away every illusion of limitation. Fear says there isn't enough. Faith says there is always more where that came from. Fear says, I must hold on tightly or I'll lose everything. Faith says, what I give freely returns to me multiplied. Fear says, what if I can't pay my bills? Faith says every need is already divinely met. You cannot serve both. You must choose one voice to follow, and the voice of fear is loud, persistent, shouting from the news, from your surroundings, from childhood conditioning. It tells you to worry. It tells you to shrink. It tells you to delay your dreams because now's not the time. But faith doesn't shout. Faith whispers. Faith speaks softly but with supreme authority. It reminds you that you are connected to an infinite source, and this source never runs dry. Fear limits. Faith liberates. If your wallet feels empty, fear will say, you failed. But faith will declare a divine refill is already in motion. When a bill arrives, fear tightens your chest. Faith lifts your hands and says, a thank you, universe, for the provision already on its way. That is how powerful you are when you choose faith. The truth is this: fear activates lack. Faith activates supply. It is not about being naive. It is about being spiritually aligned. Faith is not pretending the challenge doesn't exist. It's declaring that the challenge cannot stop your blessing. Every time you speak fear over your finances, you are reinforcing a wall between you and abundance. But when you speak with faith, you tear that wall down, brick by brick, word by word. You may not see results instantly, but that's when faith does its most sacred work. Faith keeps speaking prosperity in the middle of the drought. Faith sees rain before there's a cloud in the sky. Faith gives thanks before the money shows up, not after. Say this: I do not fear lack. I walk in divine supply. Money flows to me in perfect time and perfect amounts. I trust the process of life. Let that be the anthem of your finances. Let that be your new default. When fear comes knocking, and it will answer with faith. When fear whispers in your ear, there's not enough, you respond, my source is unlimited. I am taken care of. When fear says you can't afford to dream, you say, my dream is already funded by the divine. You must become ruthless with fear. Do not entertain it. Do not reason with it. Do not explain your faith to it. Just speak your truth and move forward. The moment you believe that provision must come from people, jobs, or government systems, you bind yourself to limitation. But when you know that your supply comes from divine law, you are no longer shaken by outer appearances. The world operates on fear. Faith operates on higher laws. Faith is magnetic. It draws to you the very things you believed were impossible. But it requires a decision. You must train your mind, your words, and your wallet to speak the language of faith. Not once, not occasionally, but daily. You speak it when the numbers make no sense. You speak it when everything seems to say a not enough. Because you are not reacting to the world, you are creating a new one with your belief. You are the vessel through which divine substance flows, and faith is the open door. When you walk in faith, you give permission for unseen blessings to manifest in visible ways. The money you need, the opportunities you desire, the overflow you crave, they are all already yours in the spiritual realm. Faith brings them into form. Do not measure your life by what your five senses tell you. Measure it by what your faith is calling for. Speak to your wallet not as it is, but as it shall be, as it truly is in the divine mind, overflowing, abundant, never empty. Let your faith become your currency. Let me know when you're ready for the expansion of point 3, or if you'd like adjustments to the style or tone so far. Every thought you think is a seed. Every word you speak is a builder. And every time you catch yourself thinking from a place of fear, doubt, or limitation, you are given a sacred opportunity, a divine moment to substitute truth for illusion. This is the law of substitution. It is simple, but it is not easy because it requires vigilance. It asks you to become the watchman at the gate of your own mind. You cannot hold two thoughts at once. If you are thinking lack, you are not thinking abundance. If you are speaking defeat, you are not declaring victory. The universe responds not to your desire alone, but to the dominant frequency of your thoughts and words. And that frequency must be cultivated consciously, intentionally, repeatedly. This is where the law of substitution becomes your greatest ally. Let us say you open your wallet and you feel a stab of disappointment. You see less than what you hoped. The old pattern might be to sigh, to say, I never have enough, or it's always like this, or I can't catch a break. And in that moment, you have just sown a seed, not in the dirt, but in the energetic field around you. A seed of scarcity. A seed that, if watered with repetition and emotion, will bear fruit in your experience, but you have another choice. You can substitute. In that same moment, instead of surrendering to lack, you stop. You breathe, and you plant a new thought, a higher thought. You say, a divine substance flows through me and around me. I am richly supplied from unexpected and unlimited sources. You feel into that truth, not because you see it yet, but because you know that the invisible creates the visible. You cannot think a thought of fear and simultaneously hold a thought of faith. One must replace the other. So the spiritual task becomes substitution, deliberate, courageous substitution. When you catch yourself thinking, a money is hard to come by, you pause and declare, a money is a divine idea. It is attracted to me with ease and joy. When the old thought says, I can't afford that, you respond with, all that is mine by divine right now flows to me in perfect timing. When your mind tries to rehearse the past, every loss, every bill, every moment of not enough, you substitute with, I am free from past patterns. My prosperity is not behind me, it is before me, and it is rising. You are not denying reality. You are correcting it. You are realigning your thoughts with truth. Because what most people call irreality is nothing more than the residue of old beliefs. And beliefs can be changed. They must be if you desire a new experience. The law of substitution is like changing the channel on a radio. If you don't like the sound of poverty, switch the station. Turn the dial to abundance. Tune into the frequency of gratitude, of expectancy, of divine overflow. Do it with your thoughts. Do it with your words. Do it every time you are tempted to sink back into old stories. You are not your past bank balance. You are not your childhood conditioning. You are not the voice in your head that tells you money is hard. You are a spiritual being plugged into an infinite source, and every time you substitute fear with faith, worry with wisdom, and doubt with divine knowing, you turn the current of your life in a new direction. This is inner alchemy. This is mental transmutation. It is the sacred art of turning the lead of limitation into the gold of truth, and you do it with the words you speak and the thoughts you permit. Say this aloud, I cast out every thought of limitation. I am now aligned with divine abundance. My wallet reflects the richness of my spirit. Let that become your immediate response every time a negative thought tries to rise. Speak it before the fear can settle. Replace the thought before it roots. Uproot the lie with truth. The more you practice the law of substitution, the faster your results manifest, not because the universe is changing, but because you are no longer blocking what was always yours. You are opening the floodgates through mental discipline and spiritual alignment. Thoughts of lack will come. That is not failure. But what you do with those thoughts determines the state of your wallet, your income, your opportunities. If you let them live, they will multiply. If you substitute them swiftly, you disarm their power. Think of your mind as a garden. You cannot stop every weed from growing, but you can pull it out before it chokes your harvest. That is what substitution does. It is mental gardening. It is soul care. It is the daily work of removing the false and planting the true. And the most powerful truth you can substitute is this: supply is not outside of me. It is within me. I am one with the source of all wealth. I do not chase money. I magnetize it. Let your wallet hear this new truth. Let your thoughts reflect your divine inheritance. Let your every substitution be an act of spiritual authority, of reclaiming what was always yours. There are words that build, and there are words that break. There are words that bind, and there are words that release. When you speak without thought, your life runs on old programming. But when you speak from spiritual intention, you awaken a sleeping power. That power is the law of prosperity, and it is activated through the spoken word. A prosperity affirmation is not just a phrase, it is a decree. It is not wishful thinking. It is not hopeful murmuring. It is a bold spiritual command to the unseen forces that shape your financial world. When you speak it with faith and feeling, you are not begging for abundance, you are claiming it, stepping into your divine inheritance. The world around you may say, be realistic. Watch your spending. Brace for the worst. But you are not ruled by the world. You are ruled by truth. And truth is this: prosperity is your birthright. Supply is spiritual. Money is simply the visible outpicturing of invisible substance. The prosperity affirmation is the bridge between what you believe in your heart and what you see in your hand. It lifts you above appearances and places you on the higher ground of spiritual law. Say this, and say it often: I am one with the infinite substance of the universe. All that I need and desire now flows to me in divine order. My wallet is full, my heart is grateful, and my supply is endless. Do not whisper it in fear. Declare it with authority. Say it to your wallet. Say it to your bills. Say it to your bank account. Speak it in the silence of morning and in the stillness before sleep. Speak it until it becomes your atmosphere. Speak it until it replaces the old inner narrative of lack, struggle, and a just enough. Affirmations are not magic spells. They are spiritual anchors. They remind your mind that you are not your fears. They tell your body that it is safe to receive. They inform your environment that you are no longer available for scarcity. A true affirmation does not ask for a blessing. It assumes the blessing is already here. It holds no doubt. It carries no desperation. It is rooted in the awareness that divine supply does not delay, does not withhold, and does not run dry. If the flow has seemed blocked, it is not because the source stopped giving. It is because your thoughts, your words, or your emotions began to resist the flow. The prosperity affirmation clears the channel. It reopens the flow. It places you back in right relationship with abundance. Your wallet hears what you say. Your money listens to your mood. The vibration of your voice carries frequency into your world. When you speak lack, money retreats. When you speak prosperity, money responds. It finds its way to you, not just through labor, but through ideas, gifts, invitations, refunds, miracles, and divine connections. It is important that you do not just say the words. You must feel them. You must feel the truth as if it were already your reality. Speak from the version of yourself who knows there is always more than enough. Speak from the identity of the one who has already received. When you say, money flows to me now, feel the sensation of that flow. Feel the ease. Feel the joy. Feel the trust. Every time you repeat the affirmation, you are reinforcing a spiritual blueprint. You are drawing new opportunities into your field. You are aligning your inner state with the outer good that is waiting to be expressed. Let no thought of a how interrupt the affirmation. The how is not your domain. Your work is not to figure it out. It is to believe it, speak it, and receive it. The universe is infinitely intelligent. It knows how to deliver the supply, but it cannot bypass your belief. It will not override your vibration. Affirm with joy. Affirm with confidence. Affirm when the bills come in. Affirm when you're tempted to worry. Affirm when nothing seems to be happening. That is when it matters most. That is when faith takes root. That is when mountains move. And do not wait for evidence to affirm prosperity. That would be like waiting for the harvest before planting the seed. No, you plant the seed first. You speak the word. You water it daily with repetition and emotion. You keep it alive with gratitude. Then the evidence comes, the money arrives, the breakthrough appears, the door opens. Make your prosperity affirmation personal. Make it feel alive. You might say, large sums of money come to me easily and frequently. I am worthy of wealth. I live in the overflow. I live in the overflow. Everything I touch is blessed and multiplied. Or, my income increases constantly. I am aligned with the rhythm of abundance. Every dollar I spend returns to me tenfold. You are not affirming to get. You are affirming because it is already yours in the spiritual realm. The affirmation is simply the delivery system. It delivers what already belongs to you into your physical experience. It bypasses logic, overrides fear, and collapses time. You speak it not once, but again and again, until the vibration of wealth becomes your natural frequency, until your inner language matches the truth of your being, until your wallet begins to respond. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a frequency. It is not a polite response to what has happened. It is a magnetic force that draws to you more of what you give thanks for. In the divine economy, gratitude is a spiritual law. What you bless increases, what you praise multiplies, and what you give thanks for, even before it appears, moves toward you with divine urgency. Gratitude is the soul's acknowledgement that supply is not missing. It is moving. It is the deep knowing that your needs are already met in the invisible, and your thanks calls them forth into the visible. Most people give thanks after they receive. But the spiritually awakened give thanks in advance because they understand that gratitude is not reaction, it is creation. You may look into your wallet and see very little. You may open your banking app and feel the sting of a not enough. But that is the exact moment when gratitude becomes your power. Not gratitude for lack, but gratitude for what is unfolding. Gratitude for the unseen. Gratitude for the divine order that is always at work behind the scenes. This is not delusion. This is divine alignment. This is the way the soul speaks abundance into being. Say this into your wallet. I am grateful for the money that is here, and I give thanks for the overflow that is on its way. I bless every dollar and every cent. I rejoice in the circulation of wealth in my life. That single act of sincere spoken gratitude shifts everything. You are no longer vibrating in lack. You are no longer affirming emptiness. You have lifted yourself to a higher level where miracles move and provision flows. Because gratitude in its purest form is faith in action. Fear repels. Gratitude attracts. When you bless what little you have, you unlock a spiritual portal for increase. When you curse what you see, you block the flow of more. The one who complains delays their good. The one who rejoices, regardless of what their eyes say, accelerates it. Even the smallest sum, when blessed, becomes a seed. When you say a thank you for this $5, you are not limiting your expectation. You are expanding your container. You are saying, I recognize divine supply in every form. I trust that this is the beginning, not the end, and the universe hears you. Because the law is this: whatever you are truly grateful for, you cannot lose, and whatever you bless will return to you multiplied. Not always from the same source, but always from somewhere. That is why you must bless every form in which abundance appears. The paycheck, the refund, the gift, the discount, the unexpected check in the mail. Bless it all. Speak your thanks. Feel your thanks. And know that as you do, you are placing yourself in perfect harmony with increase. Gratitude makes you receptive. It opens the gates that fear and doubt try to shut. It transforms your posture from in needing to receiving. It is the energy of already having, and in spiritual law, what you already have in consciousness must appear in form. Try this simple daily practice. Each morning, open your wallet and say aloud, a thank you. You are full. You are blessed. Money flows in and out with divine ease. I am grateful for every dollar that comes to me and through me. Feel the words. Let them vibrate through you. Let them become your rhythm. Then go through your day as one who is already supplied. Give thanks when you pay a bill. Give thanks when you buy a coffee. Give thanks when money leaves your hands knowing it is never lost. It is circulating, returning to you multiplied. This attitude turns even the act of spending into a declaration of faith. You are saying, I trust divine circulation. I give freely, and I receive freely. Gratitude also protects your wealth. Not just material wealth, but the wealth of your ideas, your time, your energy. When you are grateful, you are anchored in enoughness. You are no longer chasing, you are allowing. You are no longer grasping, you are magnetizing. This is why people who are deeply grateful often find themselves lucky, favored, or in the right place at the right time. It is not luck, it is alignment. Gratitude tunes your inner receiver to the frequency of blessings. It lifts you out of resistance and sets you into resonance. And do not reserve your thanks for the big moments. Celebrate the smallest increase. Speak thanks over the extra change you find in your pocket. Speak thanks over the small sale, the free lunch, the favor you didn't expect. Nothing is too small to bless. In fact, how you treat the little determines how you receive the much. When you prove yourself thankful in the small, the universe trusts you with more. So train your words to echo gratitude. Let your wallet become an altar of appreciation. Let every financial transaction be accompanied by a silent thank you. You are not giving thanks for money alone. You are giving thanks for divine source, for perfect supply, for the unending flow of good that moves through all things. Gratitude is not passive. It is active. It is spiritual momentum. It pulls unseen blessings into view, lifts heavy energy, and turns waiting into receiving.